everybody. Jeff Antoniuk here, Jazz Process video number 16, talking about the Baltimore Symphony Nutcracker gig, the rehearsals, and all the shows that were done. By the way, here's a new picture of me. You guys see that? I'm pretty sure that's me. That's on the Baltimore Symphony program. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only saxophone player they've had in the orchestra for the last month or two. So they didn't dress me up like that. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Anyway, for those of you that have been following these videos, thank you so much. The idea is I just finished 3 rehearsals and 5 shows for a world premiere of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, arranged in the style of Duke Ellington by Paul Murta. So it's the first time that a jazz interpretation of the entire Nutcracker has ever been done. So it was a blast to be involved with it, and there was a lot of saxophone. So these videos have been following my process of getting ready for this gig in philosophical ways, in mechanical ways, in musical ways. And I thought about sharing that with everybody. So that's what these videos are. I sure appreciate all the response. There's been a ton of response, and I love that. The comments, the positives, the negatives, all good. That's what this is about. Some of you noticed that there were some videos numbered number 15 that are not up anymore. And the deal was I was doing some recording in the BSO area, and that's against union rules, so bad Jeff, so that stuff got taken down. So unfortunately, I was so looking forward to taking you guys into the rehearsal and some performance ideas. That's against the rules, so there we go. But I tell you what, I want to make it up to you. So for those of you that didn't get to see Jazz Process video number 15, here's what I want you to do. Sign up on the YouTube video. Subscribe there on the YouTube channel, I should say, Jeff Antoniuk Educator on the YouTube channel, and send me an email, not just through YouTube or Facebook, but actually send me an email. It's jeffantoniuk@gmail.com, easy enough. Send me an email, I'll send you some goodies. I want to make it up to you, I'll send you some good stuff, I promise. So let's dig into the rehearsals. I really learned a lot. It was very, very interesting. I know one of the things that you've heard me talk about is, you know, especially learning these 2 instruments, alto and baritone, neither of which I've played in public really for 20, 25 years. So there was tons more of that than tenor, which I play all the time. So I was really trying to get my tone, my intonation, just all that great craftsmanship kind of stuff together. And I had, it was nerve-wracking, but I had a great time doing it. It was fun practice. And it was cool playing in the orchestra. Even intonation-wise, like where I was seated, I was frankly smack in the middle of the orchestra with the rhythm section in front of me. I was sort of in the percussion area with the brass behind me. So for instance, playing baritone, I got really comfortable on the horn, but man, when I was playing baritone parts written with the low brass, tubas, trombones, all that, oh my God. I mean, those guys were nailing it so hard. The pitch just took care of itself, right? Because I was just able to listen and do that. Now, for some of us, that's a difficult thing to do. It's just not that easy, but I guess I have enough bandwidth to make that happen. But God, what a pleasure. There were other times when I was playing, let's say, alto saxophone with all the strings. So I'm sort of on top of the strings. Oh, well, God, the strings were way in front of me, and I just couldn't hear them because I had the rhythm section and percussion between me and them. So that was tricky because you know, I really needed to know where it was without being able to hear them, and that's so scary. So stuff that you just never get to practice in the practice room, there's just nothing that really prepares you for that except preparing a bunch, right? You can't prepare for that exact situation, but the muscle memory and, you know, all these things, that's why we practice so damn hard, is that when we get thrown into a crazy situation, all that practice comes back and we have something to lean on. So I think it all worked out really, really well, but that was just such a great reminder of playing with different sections or different instruments, or even timbre-wise. There was some great stuff written with me on baritone and piccolo, at least 2, probably 3 octaves above me in unison. Holy crap. I'm not used to hearing 3-octave unisons, and frankly, I'm not used to hearing that low. I don't play an instrument that low, so my ears are attuned to a particular place on the scale, right? So, wow. Interesting. That was cool. So I'm glad I did all this preparation to get me ready for something like that, I guess. You know, another interesting thing that came up in rehearsals, when I listened to that recording of myself that I did, I didn't like it. And maybe some of you know that feeling. Listening to recordings of ourselves is hard. It's always hard. I know it is for me. And now this was like done on an iPhone, so the quality wasn't great. And it was right on me, so it's all saxophone, no context. You couldn't hear anything else. It just, so to me it sounded too bright. My ornamentation, the Ellington style stuff I was doing, the glissandos and the bends and the vibrato, just sounded crazy overdone to me. So we took a break. I went back for the next rehearsal and was really sort of listening, doing the same thing or dialing back, but in the context of the orchestra, it lost something. So I guess what I figured out is, you know, on stage, things need to be big. If you're a stage actor, you have to make huge gestures. Your makeup looks crazy if someone's standing beside you, but for that to play 40 rows back or 140 rows back, it's got to be big. So that was a cool, you know, I was sort of judging myself on like, man, that sounded nuts. Got to tone down a little bit. When I toned down, it got lost. So anyway, just that, you know, I guess one of the previous videos I was talking about feedback loops, that idea about listening to yourself and making a judgment. So my vibrato in this room is different than my vibrato in a 2,500 seat auditorium, maybe putting it like that. So that was cool. And again, I'm so glad I practiced these things at different levels, not just here's Jeff's vibrato, but I practiced vibrato in all sorts of different settings. So I was able to, in the moment, call upon what seemed right. So that's, you know, an important part of the process. Another cool thing, a lot like the intonation deal, was phrasing in the orchestra. How I would phrase with the trombone sitting right behind me versus how I would phrase, you know, I was talking about intonation before. Well, it's the same with phrasing. Let's say the swing feel, right? Everybody swings a little bit differently. So depending on who I was orchestrated to be playing with, sometimes I definitely was swinging, following them, right? I was following such and such lead player. There were other times where Paul Murta wrote me in a really classic Ellington style lead baritone sax, like baritone way high up on the instrument, like top of the instrument, scary, and then other instruments below. So there were times when I'm the lead player, okay, I got to be the lead player, right? So now I need to take charge. And of course I had to know in the music, what am I following? Who am I following? Now I'm playing lead, I got this. So that's all really cool. Playing in a jazz quartet, which is a lot of what I do, small group jazz, that stuff isn't really part of the decision making. It's sort of, you know, you doing your thing. Of course I'm connecting to the rhythm section, but it's very different. And it's a muscle I haven't exercised in a long, long time, and I just had a blast doing it. So that was really, really fun. And the last thing I'll say about the rehearsals that I noticed for myself is, and for the concert for that matter, I was used to it by the concert time, but the first rehearsal or two, we had a great rhythm section for the whole thing. Todd Harrison on the drums, Tony Knocker on piano, Paul Henry on bass. Holy cow, man. I mean, look those guys up if you don't know them. Ridiculous. And our conductor, by the way, Nick Hirsch, awesome. Did a great job. So so Nick was very easy to follow as a conductor. Great. Playing with the rhythm section, so comfortable for me, just because, again, that's what I know. That may not be what you know, but I'm comfortable with it. That's great. And that was plenty of the orchestration was written over a swing and rhythm section. Well, there was plenty of orchestration that was more quote-unquote classical, where there's no rhythm section playing. There's no ride cymbal, right? So it was following the conductor, and how these 86 amazing musicians in the Baltimore Symphony essentially co-invent the time. There's 3/8 notes there and 2/8 notes here and 9/8 notes back there and 1/8 note over there, and all that comes together to be the tempo. Damn, you know, that's big boy stuff, big girl stuff too. And that's what a great orchestra does. So I noticed the times when the rhythm section wasn't there, I'm following the conductor. I see the tempo. I'm reading my notes. I've practiced them. I know them. But yikes, little anxiety provoking for me because I'm so used to connecting to this other thing. And so now I had to be part of this wave of what the time was. And to someone that plays a lot of concert band or orchestra, you're like, yeah, Jeff, so? Again, it's whatever you're used to, right? So if you do a lot of orchestral stuff, playing with a rhythm section might be challenging. Anyway, you get the idea. So it was just such a pleasure for me to have these great challenges that on paper don't seem like very much, but took me so far out of what I'm used to doing. That said, I've played lots of orchestral, concert band, big band stuff years and years ago, but that muscle had a little bit atrophied, so it was great to get that all worked up again. As far as the performances, they were just a blast. We did 5 performances, and you know, thousands and thousands of people saw it. You know, I've heard only great response. Step Africa, a great dance company from here in DC, did the choreography, and I heard great things about that. Didn't get to see it myself. I hope one day I get to see a video or something of this. I was hearing little gossip and little hints and little hopes that maybe this gets to be a yearly thing for the Baltimore Symphony. Maybe a recording of this is in the offing. Maybe Paul Murta is going to be taking and conducting this music around the country with other orchestras. So anyway, all that's exciting. I'll certainly let you know if and when any of that comes to pass. For those of you that didn't see the production, I'll definitely, when I get a hold of anything, I'll let you know. And again, I'd like to send you a little special something. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jeff Antoniuk Educator, and then send me an email, jeffantoniuk@gmail.com. Not just on the Facebook thing, but just send me an email, that'll be best. And I'll send you a couple little treats. All right, well, thank you all for tuning in today to Jazz Process Video 16. Thank you for looking back at some of the previous ones. I've gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of really great comments and challenges and things like that. It's very humbling. I love it. I love that this is resonating with people. I'm going to be doing more of this. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.